Okay, there's an article by Slate titled Andrew Yang is Full of It by Jordan Wiseman. Andrew Yang's dystopian warning about automation and mass unemployment have mostly been a quirky and harmless sideshow throughout this year's Democratic primary. Like many tech types and TED Talk fans, the former businessman believes that the United States is living through an age of technological upheaval that has already devastated manufacturing work and will soon render millions of other jobs obsolete. His plan to address this grim future is to offer every American $1,000 per month basic income. He calls it a freedom dividend, which he hopes will prevent society from unraveling, as everyone from truckers to doctors sees their occupation devoured by intelligent machines. I'm not exaggerating. He's warned about street riots by the unemployed. The idea that a universal basic income could prevent a backlash when new tech inevitably steamrolls old industries is trendy in Silicon Valley and brings it to the primary trail. And bring it to the primary trail has won Yang a devoted, very online following that has donated a significant amount of money to his campaign, more than enough to keep him in the debates, where he's become adept at shoehorning his pitch about the impending robot apocalypse into discussions of other, more mundane policy topics. But during Tuesday's Democratic showdown in Ohio, his pet subject took center stage where CNN asked the candidates about their plan plans to help Americans who lose their jobs to automation. This led to a brief and unexpected clash between Yang and Senator Elizabeth Warren, who suggested that the main reason the United States has bled jobs in industries like manufacturing was not technology but rather bad trade policy, and that she would focus on helping workers by strengthening unions and giving them seats on corporate boards so they would have a say in decision making. Yang responded essentially that no, the robots are the problem. Then he has a quote. I don't know if this is a boy or a girl, but they have a quote of Yang. Following the debate, a fact check by the AP claimed that Yang was right and Warren wrong. Economists mostly blame manufacturing jobs losses on automation and robots, not trade deals, it stated. But this was incorrect. No such consensus exists, and if anything, the evidence heavily suggests the trade has been the bigger culprit in recent decades. All which points to a broader issue. Yang's shtick about techno doom may be well intentioned, but it is largely premised on BS and is adding to the widespread confusion about the impact of automation on the economy. Yang is not pulling his idea out of thin air. Economists have been debating whether automation or trade is more reasonable for the long-term decline of U.S. factory work for a while, and it's possible to find experts on both sides of the issue. After being steady for a year, the total number of U.S. manufacturing jobs suddenly plummeted in the early 2000s, from more than 17 million in 2000 to under 14 million in 2007. The Great Recession saw about 2.2 million more vanish, though they've bounced back a bit since. This all coincided with China's entry into the World Trade Organization and rapid transformation into an industrial powerhouse, which led many to assume that offshoring had caused America's rapid industrial decline, but some economists disagreed. So I'm going to stop it at there because I don't need to read 8 paragraphs of that trash. This person says Yang is spreading doom and gloom, and it's premised on BS. His statement that automation is going to take all these jobs, but this same person, right, literally says he is not pulling this out of thin air and then points to a continuous debate on this topic. So what this is really is someone saying you are was it a snake oil salesman because we do not know entirely for sure 100% that what you're saying is true. But do we really know that about any of the positions of any of these candidates? If he can point to something fact-based, and that's why I have such a hard time reading these condescending articles, because they don't say anything that really is just completely fact-based, and they always come off as condescending. Yang has attracted an online following of supporters who have donated enough to make him be in the debates where he always says the same thing over and over again. It's like, what does that have to do with the point of automation? Just state what he said in the last debate, argue against why it may not be entirely the case, and then we can go from there. You don't have to tell us that he's selling, even if it's well-intentioned BS, and then admit right after that, well, it's not completely out of thin air. Okay, then it's not BS if it's something that actual economists can point to and say, hey, this has been a big issue. And, trade and automation Possibly it could be a combination of why American jobs are fleeing. We have had crappy trade deals like NAFTA, the USMCA. I mean, we can go down the list. So I don't understand what the problem is with Yang saying, hey, this might be more so or definitely the part of automation. But again, this is why I don't like reading a lot of these different news websites, and they don't attract my interest.